Hey y'all, welcome to Meiji and Poppy's Kitchen, where today we are making two incredible looking berry desserts. So the first is going to be a lemon blueberry cake with a lemony mascarpone frosting, and the second is going to be berry mini cheesecake bites. The pictures look incredible. As usual, I have never made these before, so y'all are going to just make this along with me. Let's see how it goes, or you might want to watch me first and then do it. But either way, let's get this going because they look incredible. Okay, so I'm going to start with the lemon blueberry cake. And let me tell you a little secret I have. I love making cakes. I always have. And I would try the from scratch recipes for a while. And I realized I don't like those as well as I like the cake mix cakes. There's just something about the texture and the moistness of it. I just like cake mix cakes better, but only if you do them this way. The way to make a cake mix cake taste better is, and I'm using Duck & Hines lemon cake mix, so it calls for a cup of water, and I've already got the cake mix in the mixing pan, but instead of a cup of water, you put a cup of milk. Then it calls for 3 large eggs. Now, some people say to use 4 instead. I've always used 3 and it's worked out great. And then it calls for a half of a cup of vegetable oil. And instead of that, you do a cup of melted butter, which is 2 sticks. So put all those in there. Now, her recipe, her from scratch recipe, and I will link this to the bottom, calls for a half of a cup of sour cream, and I thought, oh, that might be good in a lemon blueberry cake. So we're going to do a half of a cup of sour cream in here as well. And then it's the zest of 2 lemons and 1/4 of a cup of fresh lemon juice from the lemons that you zested. So I'm going to add all of that. I've not quite finished zesting, so I'm going to do that and then squeeze the juice out, and then we are going to mix that together, and I'll show you where we go from there. So I've done one. I'm actually going to do 2 boxes because it's my dad's 90th birthday tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing this for. My dad, if you think of what he loves berries. Any kind of berry, he loves a berry. So, so that's why I'm doing these 2 berry treats at the same time, and I think he is going to be so thrilled. But so I've got one done, and it is thick. Well, you mix it on medium for 2 minutes, and it's thick. So then what this is going to do is it's going to fill 2 8-inch pans, 2 9-inch pans, a 9x13 or 24 cupcakes. I want 3 9-inch layers, and so what I'm doing both of the boxes, and then what I have left, I'll do little mini cupcakes, because a lot of people just want just a bite of something. So that's what I'm going to do for that. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these. Well, I'll go ahead and do that now just to show you about how much, because you want about half, which I just always eyeball it. The really official bakers would probably weigh this on a kitchen scale, but Meiji's not official. So I just eyeball it, but this looks about right. So then you smooth it down, and it about halfway up. But this is a 9-inch. Maybe not quite halfway up, but about halfway up is what it does. And so then I'm going to do the same thing with the other box and fill up the other 9-inch pan, and then you bake it at 350 degrees. Oh, and however many of these I can do. And then you bake it at 350 degrees for 22 to 27 minutes. And again, I just kind of watch them. I like my cake not dry, so I do it more on the less of time scale. So we'll check on them. Basically, you just don't want it gooey in the middle. As soon as it looks like it's baked in the middle is when I go ahead and take them out. And you can do the toothpick test on them. Make sure that the toothpick comes out clean. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be right back. I've got the second batch mixed up, and you know what I forgot? The blueberries. It's a lemon blueberry cake, and I forgot to put the blueberries in. So we're going to put half of the blueberries in this batch. So you're supposed to have 9 ounces of blueberries. and you mix them together with 2 tablespoons of flour, because if you don't, blueberries will sink to the bottom. So if you put the flour on them, they stay evenly distributed in the mix. So I'm going to add, again, eyeball about half of these blueberries. And when you mix fresh berries in, you want to be a little gentle, what they say, fold them in. So you don't just go crazy with it, because then they'll all just burst and won't be all pretty in your batter. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and then guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to poke some in the other 2 pans. You know what? This is a really busy weekend. So today, my cousins from Ohio are coming in for Dad's birthday party tomorrow. So we're eating dinner with them. Tomorrow morning church. Then right after church, my granddaughter's first ever piano recital, so we're not missing that. Then straight from there to Dad's party. So, whew, it's a lot. So, and me just not getting any younger. My mind's not any sharper than it was yesterday. That is for sure. Okay, that looks good with the blueberries in there. And again, I'm linking the recipe because I know a lot of you might want to try the from scratch. And that's fine. I mean, it looks really good. I just didn't want to take a chance because I know this is going to be good. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to fill up the muffin cups, see how many we get, because I do have a good bit of batter left. And then I'll come back and let you know. I've got 3 of the pans filled, and I got 24 mini cupcakes with the rest of it. So I'm really happy. That's going to be great. And I did poke the rest of the blueberries in there and then just kind of spread it out, and it turned out beautifully. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to put those in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to be checking them in about 20 minutes. I'll probably be checking them a little before that. And I'm only going to put the 3 pans in because I don't have room for the cupcakes too. And I don't like to put things in a rack underneath another one because I feel like it needs all the heat from above and below. So I'll just wait for these. Y'all can go in next. Then it calls, we're going to have a lemony mascarpone frosting, which sounds so good, and lemon curd in the middle of the layers. So I went to the store and I found lemon curd. It's at the grocery store, easy to find. But then I thought, I've heard that lemon curd is really easy to make, and I would love to learn how to make it. I like to do things myself, and so that's what I'm doing. So we're going to try lemon curd for the first time. Never done this before. This could be a disaster. What am I thinking? It's my dad's 90th birthday, and this could be a disaster. Okay, so what I have put in here is 1/4 of a cup of fresh lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, 1/3 of a cup of sugar, and then 4 egg yolks. And what I did is I separated them, and then the whites I keep in the refrigerator, and then in the mornings I add them to my scrambled eggs, and it's just more protein and not as many calories. Just a little tip there. And then 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. So you're supposed to put this on top of simmering water in a double boiler. Well, I can't find my double boiler pan. So it says you can use a metal pan, but any heat-proof pan would be fine, and just put it over a bowl of simmering water. And we're going to whisk that. It says heat while stirring almost constantly with a whisk until it thickens. It's done when it's thick enough to coat the back of a spoon. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you how it turns out. So that took about 8 minutes for me, and I just kept whisking it, and then it got thick, and it said till it coats the back of a spoon. So I kind of looked up what exactly that means. And it means, like, when you lift up the spoon, it's going to stay on the back of it. And if you do your finger down the spoon, it's not going to come back together. It stays, a little path stays in there. So let's try this. Oh, that is good. Oh, that's going to be so good in the middle of a layer of a cake. Okay, so I'm going to let that cool while everything's cooking. And then we'll come back and do the frosting. The cakes are out, and they look and smell really good. Cupcakes are in. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the Berry Cheesecake Bites. So what I've done is I have in my food processor, put together 7 of the rectangular graham crackers. It makes about a cup, and 1/4 of a cup of sugar and 1/4 of a cup melted butter. And then it says we're going to put them, I'll need a spoon for this. We're going to put them in the mini muffin cups. I did silicone because I just thought I'm going to be getting them out, so I just thought it'll be a lot easier to push them out with the silicone. And I also sprayed it just for extra measure. So I'm going to put, what would this be? About not quite a tablespoon, I wouldn't think, just a regular size spoon of this. And then it says to push it down, and I have a little liquid measuring, looks like a shot glass, so I'm going to see if this, yeah, oh, that's perfect, that works perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to fill these, I'm going to push them down with my little shot glass and then we are going to make the cream cheese mixture and the little berry swirl mixture. Can't wait. The cakes have been out about 10 minutes, which is the perfect time to transfer them. I have cooling racks. Trying to think of what you would do if you didn't have cooling racks. I don't know. I really don't. I'm at a loss. I'm crazy today. Anyway, what I do with my cakes, you want to let them rest for about 10 minutes because they kind of pull away from the pan. They start cooling and start pulling away from the pan, and it just helps it not to stick to the pan when you turn it over to cool them. So I get a plate, and again, nobody's ever taught me any of this. I've just kind of learned along the way and what works for me. So do this if you want to do this. If not, find a way that works for you. And then I tip it over like that, and at 10 minutes that is not real hot, so it's fine. It was a little warm, but not bad. And then I just flip it onto the cooling rack. I almost had a disaster there, which would be par for the course today. But anyway, so I'm going to do that with the other 3. Then I'm going to get started, with the other 2, and then I'm going to get started on the berry swirl for the little cheesecake bites. So in here, I've got a 1/2 of a cup of mixed berries, and I did raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries, my dad's 3 favorite berries. And it says to combine them with 2 tablespoons sugar and a teaspoon of lemon juice. And then we're going to cook these over medium heat, stirring occasionally for 5 to 7 minutes until the berries break down and release their juice. I'm just looking at the recipe. Then, which will be linked, remove the saucepan from heat and allow the berry mixture to cool. Once cooled, use a fork to mash the berries slightly, creating a chunky fruit sauce. And then we're going to set that aside. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that so it can kind of be cooling off too. While this is the thing, when you cook multiple things, you just kind of have to read the recipes and see if you have a time limit like I do, and see how the timing works out. So this is the way that this is on this video, is the way that I'm doing these, because that's the way that I think it's going to work out the best. So just follow along if you want to try these. Okay, so I'm going to do this, then I'm going to go see how we do the cheesecake part of it, and I'll be right back. Have you ever made your own whipped cream? You're about to. It's easy, and it is so good. It's so much better than the tubs of bought whipped cream. But this one is not going to have any sugar. Normally when you do your whipped cream, you put a little bit of powdered sugar and some vanilla or whatever in there to sweeten it up. But this, we're mixing in with the cream cheese. That's going to be sweet. So this, we're just making like a whipped cream. So we have a 1/2 of a cup of heavy cream. And anytime I do whipped cream, homemade whipped cream, I always chill the bowl, and I chill the little whisk attachment. It just seems to do better. I've read that somewhere, so it does work. So you're going to whip this until stiff peaks form. And I know this sound is probably, but anyway, so it doesn't take long. And what I do is I just kind of lift up the mixer and see if some peaks come up with it, and if so, you've done your job. Okay, I'm going to see how long this takes, and I'll let you know. Mine took about 3 minutes, and you see it's just, if you lift it up, it's just stiff peaks. It's just Yeah, stiff peaks. I don't know how else to say that, but that's how you want it. The next step is to mix 2 blocks of cream cheese, which is 16 ounces of cream cheese that I've just been letting sit out while I've been doing the rest of this to soften, and a half of a cup of powdered sugar. So we're going to mix that until they say it's really smooth and creamy, and then we're going to mix in a half of a cup of sour cream and a teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm going to do all of that and show you what it looks like, and I will be back. So I've got that mixed, and that is smooth and creamy. So we are going to fold in the whipped cream that we did earlier, which just means you're just being gentle, I guess. It's just kind of mixing it up gently so that you don't deflate all of the great whipped cream that I guess it's just going to make it kind of fluffier and not so dense as your traditional cheesecake. And then what we're going to do is take a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you can just use a sandwich bag, cut the corner off. But I have piping bags with little tips, and so I'm going to do that. I'm going to fill the piping bag, and then I'm going to make little swirls on top of it, because that's one of her pictures had little swirls and it was really cute. So I'm going to do that. Everything's moving right along. I've got my cheesecake mixture in the piping bag. I have a 4B piping tip because that's what it looked like the picture she might have done for the picture, and it just looked really cute. So we are going, and it said you can just spoon them in there. If you don't have a piping tip, whatever, you can just spoon them in there. So I'm gonna do a little swirl, and this did make 30 exactly what I had. It made 30 bases. So I'm gonna do a little swirl on all of them. I don't think I should get out of the circle. Aren't y'all glad y'all have a guinea pig? I can do this and then tell you, oh, that didn't work, or that did work. So I'm going to finish doing this, and then we're going to put the berry sauce on top. I just think this is going to be so good. Got all the swirls done, and now for the fun part. Okay, remember it said that we were supposed to mush these berries down with a fork. And then we're going to take a spoon, and and drizzle it over. The only berry that didn't break down really well was the blackberry. So as I was doing it, I kind of tried halving them with my spoon as they were cooking, and that helped a lot, because this is not bad at all. Okay, so we're going to take a spoon, drizzle this luscious berry sauce over these, and let's see how it goes. This looks a lot more chunky than her picture, but and then ooh, that looks good. I think I got too much on that one, but okay, this does not look like her picture. I think she had used a lot more berries, and I think she strained it in her picture. But it's okay. This still is going to be superb, I can tell. I'm just going to have to do it my own way. Okay, so I'm going to finish those up, then I'll let you see the final product. Then it says you put them in the refrigerator for, I think it was like 2 hours to overnight. So I am going to put them in overnight because the party's tomorrow. But I'll let you see how these turn out in just a second. Would you look at this plate of lusciousness? Golly, that looks so good. So I'm going to put those in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow before the party I will top them with probably like a little raspberry and blackberry, or just a little mixture of fruits. And I just think he's going to be so happy with these. So I can't wait to taste them. Now I'm going to be back with the recipe for the mascarpone lemon frosting. Be right back. So we're going to do 16 ounces of mascarpone. This was 8 ounces, so I got 2 of these. And I have chilled the mixing bowl because it told me to, as well as the whisk attachment. So those are good and chilled. And I'm going to add 16 ounces of this mascarpone cheese. And then you mix that together. It's not wanting to come out. You mix it together, and then we're going to put in some heavy whipping cream, some powdered sugar, and some vanilla, and that'll do it. But I'll do this. What we're supposed to do is mix this together first, and then we add in 2 1/4 cup of heavy cream. It says get it just liquidy, and then turn it on high and keep whisking it until it stiff peaks form again for another thing. All right, I'm gonna go wash my hands and then I'll be right back. Okay, so it says put it on speed 3 and slowly mix in the heavy whipping cream. So I do that. 2 1/4 cup. Watch this slowly. And then we're going to turn it on high power, 8 to 10. And that's when the stiff peaks will form. I don't know how long. Let me do this and I'll come back, get this cleaned up, and tell you how long that took. Okay, I may have said stiff peaks, but it was supposed to be soft peaks. And I got soft peaks in about 2 minutes. So now I add a cup of powdered sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. And it says I'm going to mix it together until the sugar's all mixed in, and then I'm going to turn it on high until we get stiff peaks. I don't think that'll be long because this really has achieved peaks quickly. Okay, so I got it on 8, what it said. This looks like it's going to be so good. So now for my favorite part, putting it all together. So I've got 3 layers. So I'm going to put half of the lemon curd on top of the bottom layer, and then the other half on top of the second layer. So the way she did it in her little video is she got the lemon curd and just spread it. It's half. Oh, y'all, this is going to be so good. Just spread it kind of on the inside of the cake like this. And then she took the frosting that I have in the bag and did this so we can have both the lemon curd and the frosting on each layer. Okay, so you spread this over the lemon curd. And that looks like a good amount right there. And then we're going to put the second layer on. Just make sure it's even with the first, and we're going to put the other half of the lemon curd on top of that one. Gosh, I can't wait to eat this. It's gonna be delicious. Then some more frosting. And it is so light and airy, and it's not real sweet. It's just sweet enough. I think Dad's gonna love this. Do the same thing on this one. Spread it out. Okay, looks yummy. Just a tad bit more right here. Okay. Now we're going to put the top layer on. Okay. Looks good. All right, and then we are going to, what I like to do, got a spoon in there already, is like put frosting on the sides of the top like this, and then bring it down. It just, for some reason, it's just easier doing it this way. So you just bring it down and frost it. And she said it's supposed to just kind of have a little rustic look. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to look a little rustic on the sides. So I'll keep doing this. Man, this is, do you see how light and creamy this is? This looks so yummy. I'll clean that up at the end. Keep bringing it down all the way around. And I'm gonna put some more on here because I've got plenty. This is going to be yummy. Okay, put a little bit there on the top. Then I'll show you what I like to do with cakes that have this kind of icing. Kind of smooth everything around. Make sure it's all gotten covered. And I take this little offset spatula and I just rotate the cake, and I'm pressing. I should do it like this, shouldn't I? I'm pressing down lightly as I turn it, so that it makes little stripes, makes it look decorated. Okay, this part. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just looks beautiful like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do the little puffs, and then tomorrow, before the party, I will do the little lemon slices and blueberries, so that they don't bleed into the cake or anything. I don't want it to, you know how fruit is in the refrigerator, because you can keep this in the refrigerator overnight. Don't leave it out, because it's got a lot of things that need to be refrigerated. Okay, so I'm going to try to recreate the picture. So she just has little clouds like that. And then in between, she puts a lemon slice and some blueberries. So that's what I will do. Okay, now I've got some left, thank heavens, because I forgot I did those little mini cupcakes, so I'm going to frost those. Just doing the same thing, just put a little swirl on top of each of those. And then tomorrow, when I get it finished, I will show you what it looks like. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator covered and get it out tomorrow and finish the design. Well, today's the day. It's my dad's 90th birthday. Cutest, sweetest, godliest man that you could ever meet. So he deserves to be treated with everything that he loves, with his favorite things. So the cake has chilled overnight. I have sliced a lemon, and we're just going to put the lemon slices between each little cloud that we made yesterday. And then we're going to sprinkle some blueberries on it. And again, my dad loves berries, so it's just kind of an homage to the things he loves. And thank heavens those little cheesecake bites popped right out of that silicone pan. So they look really good. I've taken a picture. I'll link it down here. But I am excited about those. They look delicious. Okay, so you see how simple that was to make it kind of look special. And then we've got a little cake topper at my sister's house for the party today. So about to do that. About to go to my granddaughter's piano recital. First ever piano recital. Can't wait to see that. And then we'll go to Dad's party. So I hope he loves it. I love him with all my heart. So I hope he loves what I've done for him.